Good afternoon, friends. I, Dinesh Panchal, welcome all of you to this webinar on innovation and business practices to fight COVID-19. At Navratna Universities, we are running a series of webinars. This is one part of it. Today, we have a speaker, Ms. Neha Taneja Chawla. In fact, sometime back when I was talking to Mr. Nirmit Jha, he is the founder of one company called, I think, something called Mathematica. So he gave me a concept, okay, that business should have some kind of a DNA to keeps on innovating and developing business practices to handle the unexpected things like COVID-19 or some disturbances. So I find today's webinar very appropriate for today's situation. So I welcome Ms. Neha. Neha, ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you just start the screen sharing?
Yeah, ma'am. Now you can start from your end. Please share a screen from your side.
Okay. Dinesh sir, is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Just put on a presentation mode, ma'am.
Now?
Fantastic. Perfect.
Okay. A very good evening to all of you. Thank you for coming for this webinar. So as you can see, the webinar is about innovation and business practices to fight COVID-19. This COVID-19 pandemic has put a lot of things to standstill. Most of us are stuck. In fact, all of us, in fact, are stuck at our homes. There's a lot of negativity around. We are disturbed most of the times, reading a lot of news, lot of things which are happening, the way it is impacting our lives, the way it is impacting us emotionally, the way it is impacting the economy. So I thought that why not look at what good is happening in this pandemic, just to bring a little bit of optimism in this entire negative situation. So what we will be looking today is basically three things. One, we will be looking at those sectors that actually boomed during COVID-19, that are doing better in COVID-19 than they were doing earlier. Then there are a few businesses and sectors which were out of business due to COVID-19, but they found out ways to survive, found out ways not only to survive for themselves, but also ways how they can contribute to the nation, to the society at these trying times. And the third part, which we actually want to focus upon, is that what are the innovations? Though, there's a lot of negativity, there are a lot of issues, there are a lot of problems, but innovators, entrepreneurs, businesses around the country have actually come up with many interesting innovations to fight this pandemic, to make it easier to deal with, to help the society, to help the patients, to help people, to help doctors, to fight this pandemic in a better way. So these are the three main things which we will be discussing. So we will start with the sectors and the companies that boomed during COVID-19. One of the sector which all of us would agree upon is what we are right now doing, video conferencing. Video conferencing has been the sunrise sector of this COVID-19 pandemic. Zoom, Google Meet, WebEx, Microsoft Teams. If you look at Zoom, for 1st March to 11th March in India, there were 1,25,000 downloads, which jumped to 1,45 lakh downloads when the lockdown started and the pandemic was at its peak from 25th March to 10th April. And that holds true for many other video conferencing apps also. The wealth of Zoom founder Eric Yuan more than doubled during this pandemic to $7.4 billion. And its net worth of the entire Zoom has even become more than the American Airlines. In last few days, 20 lakh new users were added per day on Google Meet. WebEx registered 32.4 crores attendees in the March itself. Microsoft Teams witnessed increase in video calls by 100%. So this sector definitely got a lot of boom during this pandemic. Another sector, e-commerce. And in e-commerce, especially hyperlocal, which most of us also have been using. If we look at Big Basket, they are delivering more than 2,90,000, 2,80,000 orders in a particular day. And for that, they are hiring new employees. Their order volumes have doubled. Their value per order has increased by 20-30%. Grofers is receiving 15 lakh orders per day. That many people are trying to order, though they are not able to fulfill all the orders, but they are trying. They have built up a new warehouse in just 2 weeks to cope up with the demand. And they're also on the hiring mode. They have already hired 2,000, 3,000 people and are in the process of hiring 5,000 more people. They have collaborated with more than 2,000 new stores. Amazon, its net sales increased 26% globally in the first quarter in 2020. We would have come across this news article which says that Jeff Bezos got richer by $24 billion when its stock rose by 5.3%, and his wife, who just has 4% stock in Amazon, became richer than the richest person in the India. Now, whatever I'm talking about today has basically been taken from what all news articles, magazine articles that have come in all these days during the pandemic. Another sector all of us have been using is online streaming. People have lots of time. They are sitting at home. All these OTT platforms have got a lot of boom. If we look at the overall growth of the OTT traffic, it has increased by nearly 200%. If we, based on this report, 12% increase in online streaming has been observed. People are watching 32% more time they are of watching series, 123% increase in the viewership of original series, more number of people watching movies, and a lot of time spent on the video news also. Disney launched in India during this pandemic along with Hotstar. It was able to get 80 lakh subscribers within a week of its launch. Amazon Prime offered a lot of free shows, family shows, kid shows when this lockdown started. Z5, which was not that popular as compared to others, got 80% increase in the new subscription during this pandemic. A new app was launched, Flixgeny. Many of us are many times stuck with what to watch. So this app basically helps to understand you. It understands you using artificial intelligence, and based on that suggests that what should you watch on which OTT platform. Not only video OTT platforms, even audio OTT platforms got a lot of boom during this. Television viewing, news apps, websites. All of us know the success story of Ramayana. It became the most watched television show in the entire world. Nearly 7.7 crore people watched this on a single day, which is more than any program in the entire world. Overall, TV consumption increased by 38% and TV news increased by 219%. And not only TV news, people have started using news apps and websites much more. There has been around 83% increase in the premium viewers on the news apps and the news websites. Another sector is online gaming. Online gaming, as again, people have a lot of time. If we look at, there has been around 109% increase in the online gaming traffic in April as compared to the same year, February week. And many Indian startups, gaming startups, have got lot of booms with increase in 100%, 200%, 300% increase in the number of users in their daily engagement. Paytm First Games, Ludo Stars, Gamerji, Rummy, they got more than 100-200% new users, more time their people are spending on gaming. PUBG was downloaded 83 lakh times between 11th March and 5th April itself, and the PUBG online championship, more than 20 lakh people are watching such kind of championships. So these sectors are another sector which we cannot deny is EdTech. Most of the EdTech startups, whether they are about doubt solving platforms or they are about test preparation platforms, Vedantu, which is an online tuition platform which adds around 50,000 paid users an year, was able to add 1 lakh paid users in 10 days itself. Health and health insurance, people were moving to are moving to buying medicine online pharmacies like NetMeds, MedLife, PharmEasy. They observed 100%, 200% increase in the traffic. They tied up with Uber, Zoomcar, and others to use their fleet for delivery. They are hiring new people. 1mg hired around 1,000 people. Another sector was telemedicine and online healthcare consultation platforms like Acto observed 100% increase in the queries. Another online healthcare consultation, Clinic Healthcare, observed 30 to 40% increase in the queries. Though the insurance policies offline went down, but Policy Bazaar saw 20 to 30% increase in health insurance. PolicyX.com saw 30% growth in their health policy. So online businesses which people can operate sitting at home, they got a lot of boom during this pandemic. And there was others also. But now we will talk about some sectors or companies which were out of business due to COVID-19, but came up with some strategies, not only to get their business moving, but also to help the country, to help the society at large. So some of them started delivering essentials like Zomato, Swiggy, Domino's. They were not able to do their regular business, no broker. So they started delivering essentials. Zomato started with Zomato Market. Swiggy started delivering medicines as well as grocery. Domino's started delivering essential. ITC collaborated with many of these to deliver the essentials to the people. Ola. Now, Ola and Uber were also out of business because people were not allowed to travel. So they also tried to help the society. Ola opened its technology platform known as Ola Connect, and which can be very useful during this pandemic because it can help in tracking with the vehicles. It can help in tracking the people. In fact, in Punjab, government has used Ola Tech to track and manage 17 lakh farmers' produce and their vehicle movements in the vegetable market. It can also be helpful in tracking whether the people are wearing masks or not, because they have this verification via selfie technology for their registered drivers, which can be used to monitor whether people are following the social distancing norms or not. Uber came up with Uber Medics, where they converted their vehicles, which were enclosed from roof to top with a plastic sheet, so that the driver and the rider are not connected to each other. And these Uber Medic cabs were used for transportation of healthcare workers, for delivering the essentials, for hospital drops. In addition to delivering essentials, some of them got into manufacturing essentials. Ventilator came out to be one of the most sought after product which was required during the pandemic. So automobile companies like Maruti, Hyundai, Tata Motors got into manufacturing of the ventilators. Maruti Suzuki, in joint venture with Agwa Healthcare Noida, manufactured 10,000 ventilators in a month. Two-wheeler company Hero MotoCorp came up with two-wheeler ambulance, which can be used especially in the rural and remote areas. This has all the essentials like first aid kit, oxygen cylinder, fire extinguisher, siren, and they have also given 60 of them free to the authorities. Other essentials, if we look at during this period, are the companies, FMCG companies, which already had their manufacturing established, supply chain established. They got into manufacturing the essentials like sanitizers. So Imami, another manufacturing giant, they got into manufacturing of sanitizers under their skincare brand known as BoroPlus. So they came up with BoroPlus hand sanitizer. ITC came up with contactless surface disinfectant spray, which is zero contact spray, and it can be used on doors, tables, sofas, and it dries on its own. It also launched under the Savlon brand. It launched its hand sanitizer, Savlon Hexa. Another essentials, if we look at during the pandemic, were PPEs and the masks. PPEs for the workers and masks for healthcare workers and masks for everyone else. A lot of textile companies and other companies within 1 week of the pandemic got the permission to manufacture the PPEs and received order for manufacturing more than 21 lakh PPEs like Arvind Mills, JCT Mills, Shore Safety, and many others. Tirupur, which is known as the hosiery capital of India, which supplies knitwear to H&M, Marks and Spencer, Tommy Hilfiger, they were also completely out of business. So they took special permission to manufacture PPEs, and by mid-April, they had already manufactured 10 lakh face masks and 20,000 PPE kits. Welspun, in its unit at Gujarat Anjar plant, they started manufacturing masks and disinfectant wipes and are making 20 lakh masks per week. Some of them provided other COVID-related services. If we look at PhonePe, came up with the insurance policy along with the Bajaj Alliance. Paytm also came up with the insurance policy along with Reliance General Insurance to cover the COVID with premiums of 255, premiums of 1020, and accordingly the coverage. Fintech company like InstaMojo, they helped these small players to get online because all the essentials were delivered online. So they came up with this, deliver the essentials online. They provided priority KYC for the essential business and helped them get online in 5 minutes itself. Another fintech company, Razorpay. Razorpay came up with an interesting idea where they partnered with Featherlight division Rent Light and helped to corporate offers to enable people rent office furniture because people are working from home and they do not have appropriate furniture to work from home. So they are helping people to rent the furniture. In fact, Razorpay also offered the same day customer settlement for essential businesses instead of 3 to 5 working days, which is actually takes, so that essential businesses have sufficient cash to run their own businesses. Other companies which have not been able to work, they are doing post-pandemic launch preparation. Lots and lots of companies are working from home. In fact, companies started preparing working from home much before the lockdown was announced. Some of the companies had already done mock drills for work from home. They purchased new laptops. They helped their employees take laptops and servers facility home, provided them with dongle, established the helpline center for working from home, and some of them are preparing for post-pandemic launch because a lot of things are going to change after that. They are trying to maintain their employee connection and employee retention. They are holding regular meetings with their employees, casual meetings, tea time meetings. They're even providing some kind of facilities to the employees so the employees stay. For example, Urban Company, they are providing interest-free loans to all its 30,000 working partners, even providing them health insurance of 25,000, income protection in case somebody gets infected with COVID-19. Ola has waived off lease rental for its driver partners. They are trying to build trust in the customer by doing all these activities which they are helping the society will ultimately build trust in the customer, because trust is going to be one of the major factor, I think, post-pandemic. People have started already losing trust. Here it is the situation where you do not even know that your neighbor may even complain against you if you are sneezing, and the local authorities are telling that you complain if somebody sneezes and if you think somebody has COVID. So trust has become a very big issue, whether we should go back to the organization, whether organization will take care of us or not. The customers have these doubts whether the organization are following the norms. So companies are doing efforts in that direction also. Rebel Foods, which runs many food chains in India, they are delivering food online. On the bill, they provide the temperature of the delivery person who is delivering the food. They are saying their kitchens are under 24/7 CCTV surveillance and the social distancing norms are maintained. Companies are trying to do marketing activities also. They are trying to do cold calling, generating the leads so that they are ready with what can be the prospective demands once the things start moving. They are also analyzing, because of a lot of time at hand, they are analyzing in detail their past sales and trying to keep in touch with the customers for the future orders. Companies are also working on cost cutting measures because a lot of loss has been incurred during this time. So they all definitely have to work on how they can cut their costs so as to sustain the businesses. These are some things, a lot of other companies are doing a lot of other things, but these are few of the things which some companies have done. So this was the second thing which I wanted to talk about. Now moving on to the third part of the presentation. The third part of the presentation basically is about innovations. Now, what are the innovations which has happened during COVID-19? So the main areas of innovation have been the innovations for ensuring social distancing and proper hygiene, which are considered to be the two main things which can help to fight COVID-19. Innovations for monitoring and ensuring the testing of COVID-19. Innovations for patients who are infected with COVID-19, and the innovations to help doctors and frontline workers who are helping to fight COVID-19. So these are the main four areas in which lots of innovations have come up. If we look at what are the innovations to ensure social distancing and proper hygiene, so they are the innovations which are basically related to sanitization. When we talk about sanitization, it is about sanitization of places. It is about sanitization, personal sanitization. It is about sanitization of the belongings. It is also about, what are the innovations which are coming in the area of masks, gloves, which are again considered important for maintaining social distancing and proper hygiene, and some applications which are helping people to do so. One thing which all of us know about, have lot of been heard in these days, is drones. Drones have been used for sanitization of places. In addition to drones, mist cannons have been used, butterfly sprinklers have been used, jet spray guns have been used in light cargo vehicles to move into the narrow alleys. So a lot of different modes have been used by the authorities so as to ensure sanitization of the places based on how that particular place can be reached through. And we all keep on seeing sanitization happening around us in our societies. When it comes to personal sanitization, one of the most important thing is hand sanitizers. A lot of hand sanitizers are already available in the market. These people from IIT Roorkee, they came up with the hand sanitizers, which is a herbal hand sanitizer, and they started with refilling of hand sanitizers because otherwise it leads to a lot of wastage of the plastic every time you buy a new hand sanitizer. So they have a system where you can refill the sanitizer. Another innovation has been tea extract based hand sanitizer. Because the sanitizer is colorless, it becomes very easy to dilute the sanitizer. So this tea extract hand sanitizer basically has a color in it, and hence it becomes difficult to dilute the hand sanitizer. Another issue with the hand sanitizer is that every time you touch the bottle, there is a chance of infection. So DRDO, that is Defense Research and Development Organization, has come up with automatic mist-based sanitizer dispensing unit, which is a contactless sanitizer. So this sanitizer basically dispenses the sanitizer based on the ultrasonic sensor. So there is no touch, there is less wastage. Just 5 to 6 ml of the sanitizer is released for 12 seconds. And such kind of sanitizer, contactless sanitizer, can be located and installed at the entry and exit of hospitals, malls, offices, societies, even after the pandemic is over. Next, in the personal sanitization are the disinfection chambers. Now, these disinfection chambers basically disinfects anybody who passes through these chambers. They can again be installed at the entry of important places, even this railway stations and even the airports, hospitals, malls. So what happens in these disinfection chambers? Different organizations and institutes have come up with these disinfection chambers, which basically work on this concept that they are electronically controlled. They detect the entry of any person who comes over there and generate a mist. Now this mist can be hydrogen peroxide. In some cases, the mist is of soap and sanitizer. In some cases, the mist is of hyposodium chloride. So they can use different kind of mist which can basically decontaminate the body, hands, and the cloth. So it just takes 5 seconds once you enter into that, and within 5 seconds it is decontaminated. Once the person goes out, then there is a UV light which gets switched on, and that UV light decontaminates the entire chamber, and then it is ready for the next person. So that decontamination process also takes seconds of time. So that is how these disinfection chambers or decontamination chambers basically help. So the one developed by this Delhi-based sanitization company, Basic Shit, is already available for purchase also. It costs around 60,000. Next is the sanitization of belongings. Most of us, when we bring things home these days, whether it is vegetables or any other grocery, we are concerned about, it's sanitization. We wash it. We are concerned about our car keys, our mobile phone, the wallet. So many people have come up with the chambers which can sanitize your belongings. Something like this. This is Corona Oven. This is done by Log9 Materials, which is a nanotechnology startup. So what they do is these are based on UV germicidal technology. You just put your products into it, close it, and within few minutes, all the products will be sanitized. All the products will be disinfected. So they have made different variants of it, ranging from 8,000 to 14,000. On the similar lines, again, this is by the Delhi-based Defense Institute of Physiology and Allied Sciences. They have, along with this box kind of thing, they have also come up with UV lamp, which is a handheld device. So with this handheld device, you can expose it to the materials which you want to be sanitized for 45 seconds at a distance of less than 2 inches, and everything will be sanitized. Similarly, this is again the similar thing, which is a UV trunk, which is a low cost version of it. It takes comparatively longer time, but then it is very low cost, or only around 500 rupees. It is based on the same technology. Next are the masks. So masks are already available. There are a lot of masks, but there have been some innovations which have happened in the masks. There is, for example, this is the mask which has got the antibacterial coating. Now this antibacterial coating clothing has 99% kill rate even after 60 washes, and it is more breathable comparatively, as they say, and it has a nano silver based clothing, antibacterial clothing. So they say that it is more effective. This has come from a Gujarat based startup. This mask has come up by DRDO, which is a 5-layer mask and 2 layers of nano mesh. They are producing around 10,000 masks every day. Another mask which is still not out in the market. They are in the still in the stage of getting it verified and testing it. This is by a Baroda-based startup called Ban Corona. The technology on which they have made their mask is that this mask changes color. It becomes pink whenever it comes in contact with the coronavirus. So these are few innovations which have happened in the area of mask. Now this is a gloves, which is again by a Baroda-based startup, Viral Brain Systems. This glove does not only protect your hand, but it also sanitizes everything which it touches. It has got 3 layers. The first and the last layer is made up of latex, and the middle layer is made up of chemical and sanitizer. And when you touch something, so that also gets sanitized. This is Kavach. This is again a small innovation. It is a small pendant-like device which can be worn, and this device basically gives you a reminder every 30 minutes to wash your hands. It vibrates if somebody comes within your personal space of 1 meter. It gives you an indication. It sends you an SMS if your temperature goes up from the normal. And this device, they say, can be made available for just 400 rupees. IIT Mumbai students are preparing this nasal gel. This nasal gel will act as an extra protection, because this, when applied around the nasal passage, this will deactivate the trapped virus. And most of the times it is one of the common, nose is one of the common entry point for the virus. So this will help in deactivating the virus, and hence more protection. So these were the protections for ensuring the social distancing and the personal hygiene. Next category is the innovation which the government authorities need for monitoring the people who have been kept in quarantine, and also for ensuring that sufficient testing is being done. So these innovations are related to mobile applications for keeping track of lockdown violators, related to drones, hydrogen balloons. As we all know, in Baroda also they are deployed hydrogen balloons which had cameras, which had loudspeaker and a flashlight. So you can through camera observe the people, and through loudspeaker, if you want to make some announcement, you can make the announcement. Then the testing kits, which are again a very key to ensure that we have sufficient number of testing kits and proper testing kits so that we don't have to import them. So if you look at the mobile applications innovations have come up in 2 categories. One is the category of mobile applications for monitoring the quarantine patients. These mobile applications are basically based on the principle of geofencing. DRDO has come up with SAMPRAC, that is Smart Automated Management of Patients and Risk for COVID-19. So these applications give an indication to the authorities whenever an individual go beyond the limits which he is permitted to go. And it has got artificial intelligence based automatic face recognition. So selfie is taken when you are registered on this application, and then you have to send subsequent selfies, and it is matched that it is you who is actually in the quarantine. So it gives option to the authorities to let people be home quarantine and not use the government facilities for quarantining the people and leaving them for the patients who need them more. So it gives the alert to them if you violate geofence. It also gives them alert if you are not sending them regular updates. So there are a lot of such applications which different states have developed. Maharashtra developed Mahakavach, and then Chandigarh, Gujarat has their own application. And this is an application called Quarantine, which is developed by IIT Mumbai. So a lot of such applications have been in existence by now. Another set of mobile applications, if you look at, they are for contact tracing. Now, these are not for somebody who is already in quarantine. This is for normal people. So as to ensure that in case they come in contact with anyone who is impacted by COVID or other information if they need with respect to COVID. So by mid-April itself, there are more than 16 apps. Then came Arogya Setu app. So as to have a common app with everyone, I think most of us would have Arogya Setu app in our mobile phones, which tracks through Bluetooth and location generated social graph. And if you have downloaded that app, it also keeps giving you an indication that you should turn on your Bluetooth from time to time if your Bluetooth is off. Till now, around 9.4 crores Indians are already using this app. This app helps you to self-test yourself for COVID. It provides you a lot of information for the COVID. It warns you if you come in contact with anyone who is having COVID. Also, it provides you information about what are the updates of COVID in the country, in the state, so that people do not get the different information from different places. Testing and diagnostic kits. Now, a lot of innovation is happening in this area also. A lot of labs, a lot of institutes are working. The first was the MyLab discovery, which got a lot of coverage because they were the first one to come up with PCR kit for the testing of COVID-19. Their kit cost around 1,200 rupees, which was 1/4 of the imported kits, and they take only 2.5 hours. Other kits were at that time taking 6 to 7 hours, and with their current capacity, they are already manufacturing 1 lakh. They are manufacturing kits which can do 1 lakh tests per week, but they have already collaborated with Serum India and APG. 20 lakh tests per day can be done after that, once after the collaboration is done. Another technology which has come in the testing is Chitra Gene Lamp N. Now this uses a machine which costs around 2.5 lakh, whereas RT-PCR, which is the normally used machine, costs around 15 to 40 lakhs. They are still waiting ICMR approval, but they say that they can confirm test in 2 hours, and the cost of the test will be around 1,100 rupees. On the similar lines, there are other diagnostic kits. This is again one which has got lot of coverage is Fastsense Diagnostic Pune. They have used CoviSense technology and have come up with 2 products. One that will do the on-the-spot testing in 15 minutes and can be then, it is a portable chip-based module, so it can be installed at various places and does not need experts to do the test. And this is again the PCR-based detection, but they are trying to reduce the time here. So they can be installed at public places and virus hotspots. It is still at the prototype stage, but they plan to come up within weeks with this. DNA experts, which has already cleared first round of screening with ICMR, they say that till now the fastest PCR in India is taking 2.5 hours, but with their technology, it can be done in 58 minutes, which can increase the efficiency and the number of tests which we can do per day. Another innovation in this area is by IIT Delhi, where they are trying to substitute the probe which is used in testing, which is the most expensive element in the entire testing process, by another chemical. It is a clinical trial with NIV. Now we come to the third set of innovations, which are for patients which are infected with COVID-19. So these are innovations related to ventilators, related to antibacterial fabric, oxygen mask, patient beds. Ventilator came out to be the most sought after thing after the COVID-19, because this is the only thing which could save the critical patients. And at the start of this pandemic, India had around only 56,000 ventilators, which was much less for such kind of population. And the cost of the ventilator is also quite high. The average cost of the ventilator is around 5 to 10 lakhs. So DRDO came up with the multi-patient ventilator, where the single ventilator can be used for 4 to 8 patients, and they've already transferred the design and manufacturing, fabrication and manufacturing to other companies. Another low cost to reduce the cost and alternative to the ventilator was proposed by SCT-IMST Kerala, which is known as the bubble helmet. Now, this is an alternative for the oxygen mask. It can help critically ill patients to breathe if they are, not having an access to the ventilator. And they have also transferred the technology to HLL, who are in the process of manufacturing these ventilators. Another technology in ventilators which has gained momentum is artificial manual breathing units. So they are generally the manual breathing units. They have been put into use so that they can be used with the help of the electricity or the battery. So these are the small handheld devices. They assist in breathing of the critical patients with no access to the ventilators, and they can be run with the help of even car battery if the electricity is not available. So they can be used in villages with no electricity or no constant supply of the electricity. Mahindra & Mahindra has come up their indigenously developed bag wall ventilator, which costs around 7,500 only. These are few innovations which have come in the area of ventilator. Another innovation which was already existing but gained momentum during this was infection-proof fabric. The research shows that in developing countries like India, around 10% of the patients develop hospital-acquired infections. So this infection-proof fabric, if it is used to make hospital bed sheets, pillow covers, uniforms, and can prevent these HAIs, that are the hospital-acquired infections. So it is not very expensive, but it is a novel textile processing technology. It converts regular cotton fabric into infection-proof fabric. It is already being used right now at AIIMS for the pilot test. This is an interesting innovation again from the Gujarat, an architecture graduate, Gujarat-based architecture graduate. She came up with these beds. These are the beds which can be used in makeshift hospitals. They can be used for the workers also. If they can be used for the workers also if they are made to stay at their factory places. So these beds are made out of the corrugated boards, and they can carry the weight up to 200 kgs, and they're lightweight, easy to move, assemble. They do not need any nails, any hammering, any glues or stitching for assembling them, and they are coated with waterproof technology. So being coated with waterproof technology, they will not damage in transportation also, and the price is also very reasonable. And they say that they have a capability of manufacturing lot many of them if they are required. Around 2,000 beds they can manufacture per day. The last category is the innovations which have come up to help the doctors and other frontline workers. There are a lot of innovations related to robots in this area, because the problem with the doctors is when they come in contact with the patients, there is a high chance that they also get infected. So what kind of work which the doctors do can be done by robots, so they do not have to come in contact, or for that matter, the other health workers do not have to come in contact with the robots. So a lot of robotic companies and startups have come up with robots. Now these robots, for example, this Asimov Robotics Kerala has come up with Karmi bot. Now these robots, basically what they do, they can dispense the medicines, they can dispense the food to the patients, they can collect the trash which is used by the patients, they can perform disinfection, and they are IoT enabled, so they can also do video call between the doctors and the patients, video call between the patients and the family members. So there is this video, but I'm not sure whether this is work or not, so we will skip the video. And not only these companies, even the school children in Delhi came up with the robot which they named as Prithvi. So they were made using the cardboards and basic motors and costed around 5,000, and it can be actually converted into a proper robot. Milagro robots are right now being installed at AIIMS. They have come up with this robot called Humanoid ELF. This is a very high-tech robot which detects anything which comes in its path, any object which comes in its path, to avoid collision and provide communication between the doctors and the family. There is another robot again from the same company which is being installed in AIIMS, which is basically used for floor cleaning right now. A lot of other companies and colleges have also come up with robots, and hospitals have already, these are the hospitals where the robots are already installed. Fortis in Bangalore has also installed the robot. So robot first, once you enter, it is a robot who greets you, asks you your body temperature, sends the information to the doctor. Then there is another robot who gives you the further instructions, and then if required, the doctor pitches in. Otherwise, a lot of things can be handled through these robots themselves. Then these are IoT-based ventilators. Again, these ventilators are low-cost ventilators, through which the doctors can operate the patients from the distance. Again, the doctor do not have to come near to the patients. This Aerobiosis Innovation have come up with this low-cost portable, ventilator known as Jeevan Light. So it can be operated with mobile phone. It is battery operated and can also be used in areas with no or low power supply. It costs around ₹1 lakh. IIT Roorkee, in collaboration with AIIMS, have come up with this IoT-based ventilator, which costs around only 25,000. And this is known as the Pranvayu. They are already implementing it in AIIMS and looking at its viability. So it does not require compressed air, and it can be used in the open areas which are converted into ICUs when if required during the COVID, and it provides real-time monitoring of patient breaths in the waveform. As we had talked about antivirus coating on the clothes and other surfaces. So this antivirus clothing is again for the doctors, PPEs, masks, gloves, and if it is coated, if their clothes, if their masks, if their PPEs are coated with this, it is believed to be 100% successful in killing the viruses and hence reduces the chance of catching the infection. There have been isolation pods which have been developed. These isolation pods basically help to shift the patients safely so that those who are shifting the COVID patients from one place to another do not catch any kind of infection. So these are completely sterilized. There is a light bed is arranged in that, and technology for this has already been transferred for the manufacturing. DRDO has also come up with casualty evacuation cylindrical bags on the same lines, and those bags have even ventilators and small ventilators within that, oxygen mask within that. Then this is a small innovation, which is an infection-free tap, where the tap is being operated through foot. This innovation is by Tamcha's government, a lay-based individual. So you do not have to touch the tap in order to avoid any kind of infection. And also the water is saved because it is pedal operated and only a small amount of the water flows every time you press it. For doctors and the frontline workers, companies have come up with 3D printed face shields. So 3D printed face shield ensure that it is as per their face, and because they have to wear it for a very long time, and they also do not cost very much, and the mask is replaceable. The sheet can be used again by them, and they cost very less, around 45 rupees, 50 rupees. And they also are planning to include antibacterial efficiency within this face shields also. Another innovation is disposable bins, because the mask and other things which are used by the patients, it is very important to dispose them off very carefully because they can also cause the infection. So this is UV based mask disposable bin. So the masks are put into that so that when the masks are being disposed of, at that time there is no chance of infection being caught to any health workers. In the same lines, there is an innovation known as acrylosol. Now, acrylosol, what does it do is, it is a material which can be used in section canisters and which can be used in spit bags. Now, this will convert any respiratory fluid or the body fluid, any saliva of the patients into gel, because it has got super absorbent qualities. So anything you put liquid in it, it gets converted into gel. When it's got converted into gel, the probability of infection being spread through it completely minimizes, and it can absorb lot of weight. In fact, 20 times more than its own dry weight, it can absorb the material. So anything which is like the saliva or the sputum, anything of the patient which can be decontaminated and can be disposed of very easily and very safely. These are the examination booths. Again, so that the doctors do not come in contact with the patients. They are like the telephone booth. They are equipped with lamp, table fan, and UV light. As soon as the patient goes out, it disinfects the entire booth within a few seconds. DRDO has also come up with these booths. The gloves are provided so that the doctors can examine by putting their hands in the gloves and checking the patients. Drones have been used for monitoring the temperature. So drones with infrared cameras are used for monitoring the temperature so that the doctors do not have to do that. Another, and I think the last innovation which I would be talking about is the digital stethoscope. This company has come up, IuSync, they have come up with digital, this is an IIT Mumbai incubated startup. They have come up with this digital stethoscope which can be attached with any existing stethoscope, and the doctors can listen to the heartbeat from the distance. So doctors do not need to go near to the patient, and the heartbeats can be converted into the phonocardiogram, and can be looked at by the doctors sitting anywhere. And all these innovations basically are aimed at avoiding the close contact between the doctors and the patients, the healthline workers and the patients, so that they do not get infected because of the patients. So these were a few innovations which I found to be interesting, and I thought I will bring them out. So that is what I wanted to talk about. The points to think now is the business practices which have come up now and the innovations which have come up, will they also go away once the pandemic goes away, or they are here to stay? Have we already done enough innovations, or we still have scope for more innovations? Will the business scenario change post-pandemic? Will the customer attitude, will the customer purchase preferences, the way the customer shop, the way the customer make decisions, the way the employees decide on the employers, the way the employers select the employees, will all this change? And I think, yes, lot of things will change, at least for some time to come, because even if this lockdown is over and things start reopening, there will be a lot of apprehensions among the employees, lot of apprehensions among the employers, among the customers, and a lot of innovations are still needed for all of them. And the companies need to build in trust for their employees, for their customers, so that they become preference for them, for their customers and employees over the other people. So before all this ends, we still have lot to do, lot to think about, lot of innovations to come up to deal with the current situation as well as to the situation which is coming up. With this, we come to an end of the webinar. I'm open if you would like to add anything to it. Anyone, definitely, you may have more things which you may like to add.
Yeah, friends, if you have any questions, just please raise your hand. Though we have very less time available for Q&A, but the kind of the list of the innovation what ma'am has shared, it was amazing. If you have some concerns, some comments, some questions, please raise your hand. Ma'am, just a comment from my side.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, when in fact this lockdown happened, I was under the impression that the lockdown has actually made India to stand still. Like
Right.
Most of the thing has come to a stop. But looking at your presentation, I now can see a lot of things happen. A lot of new things happen.
A lot of companies, they have come up with a lot of ideas which is not only helping them do business but actually build trust in the people that we are there for the society when needed, and I think it is going to help them in the long run also.
Right. In fact, I'm surely going to show this presentations to a lot of people here, and especially to my children. I just want to show them that the world is not stopped. Things are still moving.
That was actually the purpose. There's a lot of negativity around. So I thought, let us talk about something positive which is happening. And the people who are doing a lot of good things, working day and night, coming up with the innovations, businesses who are thinking out of the box and trying to survive even in these hard times.
Right. Yeah. Yes, Chirag, go ahead.
Okay.
Chirag?
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so I've joined from UAE. Even things are quite similar here, I must tell. And much of what Madam presented is applicable here. I have a very small question here. When we discuss the innovations and we discuss the measures and even the economic impact, you would agree that most of it so far has been restricted to only the big players. Particularly the slide wherein you said that Jeff Bezos became richer by $26 billion or something
Right.
of that figure. My question is very simple. When you speak about small players, by small players I mean wherein the yearly turnover is not more than, let's say, 1 crore. And they have a business, especially in India, which was mainly relying on offline trade. When
Right.
people used to meet each other physically, and now all of a sudden they are expected to change the way they do business and rely more on the technology to reach their consumer. Where do they go? Where do farmers go wherein they have a produce to sell and the physical movement is very limited?
See, I'm
Is there
definitely
something particular that they can do?
right.
And
See, I'm
should they go?
definitely not denying the fact that a lot of small businesses, lot of big businesses have been impacted adversely because of this, and but there is a good thing for some small businesses also. For example, as I said, Grofers, they added around 2,000 small shopkeepers on their platform, so they were never online. There are companies who are providing them opportunity, as I talked about InstaMojo. They are helping them get KYC because they do not know how to get it done and being online. So help is being offered to them also. In fact, this pandemic has taught them. They would have never thought of going online. Big businesses keep on strategizing, keep on coming up with new things, but these businesses, they keep on running the way they are running, because maybe they are happy with that, maybe they do not have that much access to anything through which they can do. But when you are left with no option, when you are in crisis, and you know that if you do not change your ways, if you do not do anything, you will be left out of business, then you also start putting in more efforts. You will come out of your comfort zone. So definitely it has taken a great toll on them. Manufacturing by small units has completely come to standstill, and the economy is very badly affected. But what is the good point about it is that it will help them come out of their comfort zone. Now they will not be apprehensive of going online. They will not be apprehensive of working from home, which they were earlier. Because when you are left with no choices, then you actually have to jump into the water, right? So I think from that perspective, big companies are even helping these small players also to come up. But yes, some businesses like manufacturing, where you actually need to be on the factory and do the things, farmers, yes, they are affected. So also selling, they are allowed to sell their produce directly. So many people who are not into grocery business are getting into grocery business, buying it from the farmers and selling it directly. Overall, definitely there is a lot of loss which is happening. But if we look at the brighter side of it, it is also giving opportunity for the people to come out of their comfort zone and do things in a different way. And if they have that survival instinct, they will actually adopt to it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chirag, for raising this question. Ma'am, just because of the shortage of time, I would request all of you, if you have any questions, you can write back to us. We'll be more than happy to respond to those questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am. Yeah, it was really nice session. And as I told you, because of your presentation, at least we can feel that a lot of things are happening, a lot of positive things are happening. Thank you for bringing those to our notice, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.